Recording in progress.
So first of all, today's date is 19th. All of you are having this Jupyter notebook, right?
Yes, sir.
First of
Yes,
all,
sir.
yeah. First of all, do one thing. Prior to starting of this, we have learned how to write a for loop and all, right? So,
Yes.
last day we have done a program, I believe, called factorial of a number, right?
Yes, sir.
So, I want you to try the program where you will be doing factorial within a range. Means, suppose you are considering 5. Okay, you will be taking input as 5, and then you need to find factorial of each number. Means 1 factorial will be 1, 2 factorial will be 2, 3 factorial will be 3 into 2 into 1, 6. 4 factorial will be 4 into 3 into, means each element you need to find the factorial. Okay? Question is clear, right? Output will be like 1 factorial 1. You can write 1 fact, whatever is something, what 1 factor. This will be your output, right? 1 factorial is 1. 2 factorial is 2. 3 factorial is 3 factorial is 6.
Yes, sir.
4 factorial is, means this you will take out input. So suppose you take input as 5. Don't take too big, otherwise it will hang the machine. So you take input as 5. So I want each element ka factorial you need to find out. Okay.
Okay.
4 factorial is 4 into 3 into 2 into 4, and 5 factorial. This will be my output. Okay. Right. I will give you 8:53 suppose. So take 5 minutes. Okay, that will be more than. All of you try. Okay, and whoever finishes first, you can share the code in the chat box. Okay,
Okay, sir.
chat box. Just write your name and share the code. Anybody completed?
Yes, sir. I've sent it. Sir, I've sent it. Look it, sir. Check it, sir.
Input number. Achha, I can only see message from OIS. MD
Yes, sir.
Did you just ping directly to me? Okay, are you pinging to everyone?
No, sir, only to you.
Only you have sent, right? OIS?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me share. Let me resume sharing. So basically, this is also very so see, this is my solution. More or less, we both are doing the same thing. Okay, so basically, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So basically, what we are doing first, we are taking an input, correct? Then what we are doing for I in range 1 to a plus 1. Why we are taking a plus 1? Because if we take 5, so 1 to 5 means 1 to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because for loop always starts with 0. Okay. Now I have to keep in mind, I have to take fact as 1 here. I can write here also as 1 or here also. This is not that much required maybe. So let me remove it. So now I go for another loop for j in range 1 to I plus 1. Because I need to check the each element in this my j loop. And here my logic is fact equals to fact into j. And then outside this particular loop, we are printing I factorial as, okay. So this will be our output. So what 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. So what he has done is also perfect. He has also done another logic, which is also very good to be written, which is he is checking if n is greater than 0. So if I give something like, suppose -5, then no output is there. So what you can do here, everything is correct. There is no issue in that. If you are writing a if condition, you should write a else also. Okay. If you are writing this condition, so enter a number -5. So the input is wrong, right? Means whatever you don't want factorial of a negative number. So you can do one thing. Please check your input. Someone else has also sent me. Okay. Somdatta has sent. Let me check. It's very much complicated. Okay, now if we run it, so if I give suppose 0, else n greater than equals to 0, no? If n greater than 0. If I put 0, let's check your input. So this will be a more perfect, right? Ki you always give a else condition when it is required. Let's me check what Shamdatta input a number factorial equal to 1. If number less than 0, number does not exist. Else if, okay, let me run it. So first of all, else there is a error. Okay, this thing we haven't discussed, we will be discussing. Expected, so if we are reading, now this print will be here. There is an indentation error. See, expected and indentation block. So in case of Python, indentation is very much mandatory. Without proper indentation, program will return an error. I don't think she's the factorial of number is. Let me run it. 5. Factorial of 5. Perfect. So what she has done, factorial of factorial into I. See, what she has done seems to be correct. But actually, what she has done is she has printed each iteration. Okay. This program is actually wrong. Can anybody say where it is wrong? Here it is wrong. Because she has taken only a single value, 5, and she has done the factorial of 5. So what was our requirement? Our requirement was to find factorial of each number, correct? So that portion means she has done factorial of a single number, but not each number. Okay. Achha. Anybody else share? No. Okay. Now, so let me show you one. Suppose we want to print a multiplication table. Okay. Multiplication table means I will be entering a number and I want to print the multiplication of that number up to 10. Okay. So how are we going to do it? I am just copying pasting it because I have already written the code once. So we are inputting a number. What we are checking for I in range 1 to 11. A into I equals to, what we are doing is A into I. So A is my number and I am multiplying that number with I here in each iteration. Okay, so whenever if I run it, suppose I put 5. So I will get the table of 5. Okay. Any confusion you can tell me. Hello.
No, sir.
Okay. So basically, this is what we can do with for loops. Achha. Now, let me do one thing. If I write print, then I am writing hello is what. So plus is a concatenation operator in Python. Okay. Plus operator. Okay. Means basically what it does is it concatenates two strings. Okay. Means when we want to work with strings, so it concatenates two strings, and if we run this, we can see the output as hello world, correct? But there is a catch to it. Whenever you are using a plus sign, and then we are using plus, suppose it, hello world, suppose I want to print 2022. It will give an error. Why it will give an error? See, can only concatenate string, not into string. So this is the limitation. So you need to keep in mind whenever you are concatenating a string, you have to keep in mind ki into string is not possible. Okay. So if I write 2022 like this, so it is considered as an integer value. So concatenate function doesn't work with integer. It only works with strings. Okay. So in order to have this, we have to write it like this. Okay. So that is part of concatenation. Comma is a different thing. Okay. Comma means we are printing values side by side. But concatenation means, suppose if I write in A equals to hello plus world. Okay. Now, if I print A, then what I will find? Hello world. So now the value of A is hello world. Achha, can you tell me how to know the type of A? How can we know what is the type of this variable A, data type? Anybody?
Sir, by adding type before the variable.
Correct. So we will be writing type A. If we run it, see, class is string. Okay. So that means if I also write like this, because printing with comma is okay, but when I want to assign some values and into a particular variable, then this thing will be an issue. See, we will get an error. Okay. If we want to concatenate two strings, suppose first name and last name, and store it in a name variable, in that case, suppose if there is, if mistakenly put some integer value, then it will give an error. Okay.
Sir, so what is the use of that plus sign? We can do it also directly, sir.
No, we cannot do it directly. Suppose, let me show you. Suppose, I'm showing, just a second. Suppose in here, okay, I am writing hello, comma world and printing it. See, it will be printed like this. A then becomes a tuple. This means this is a different data type, okay? But we are not getting hello world together. Means I want A to contain hello world as a value, correct? So we cannot give this comma and put the value. In print function, when we use it like that, it helps us printing, but it doesn't make, suppose there are two values, first name and last name. So your manager says, no boss, I want name to be printed in a single variable like that. Okay. So if you put a comma on there and put it in a single variable, it will come like this. This is, see, now the class has changed to a tuple. So tuple is a different data type, which we'll be covering in our future classes. But we don't want a tuple, we want a string. Okay, so if you want a string, then you have to use this concatenation operator when you are working with multiple strings. You get it or not?
Yes, sir.
Clear, no? So
Yes.
these are small things, but you need to keep in mind ki this plus sign, like in Java, suppose if you have worked in Java or not, this plus sign we can write integer also. There is no issue in that. But Python doesn't support it. Because concatenation only happens between strings. Okay. Achha. Now, if we want to print a loop in a reverse order, okay, then we will be writing like this. For I in range 5, so my loop will start with 5. It will go to -1 with the step up -1. This one is called a stepping. So if I run it, you will find 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. So if we want to print a loop in a reverse order, we can do it like this. Okay. So 5, then -1, then at the last -1. If we write like this, 5 minus 1, you can ask me, what will it print? It won't print anything because there is no step is mentioned. If I write 5, 1, 1, then also you won't be finding anything. You have to write, suppose you write 5 to 1 and you write -1. See, 5, 4, 3, 2. Means what happens is that minus, it is doing minus, and at the end it is removing that last portion. So in order to do that, you have to, so you can do it like 0 also. So it will 5, 0, -1. Okay. So it will go to 0 to 5 with -1 as each step. So this -1 is required. Okay. Okay. Now, perfect number we will be doing. Prior to that, this we will be covering. Just a second. There is also another kind of loop in Python, which is called a while loop. Okay. So basically, while loop is called a entry controlled loop. Any idea why it is called entry controlled loop? Any idea? Huh? So basically, okay. So basically, see, while loop, whatever, suppose you went to a, so what is happening in a for loop? So you are writing for I in range, you are writing the condition, means whenever up to the ranges, it will first check it will go inside the loop, check the condition, and it will iterate one by one, correct? So that is the basic fundamental design of a for loop. But in case of while loop, it is called the entry control loop. Why it is called the entry control loop? Because suppose you go to a movie, okay? So what happens is whenever you go inside the theater, first what happens? There is a guy who, suppose a hall has a size of 50 people. It can accommodate 50 people altogether. Okay. So whenever, if we check for a for loop, what it will do? So the first person enters, he will check, okay, if I less than 50, then I will let the another person enters, right? If I equals to 1, I less than equals to 50 means for I in range 1 to 50. So what will happen? The first person will enter, then the ticket checker who is there in front of the hall, after entering, he will check the ticket and he will check up to 50. Okay, there is no checking in between. When once आपके पास ticket है कि नहीं है, they are not going to check. In case of while loop, what will happen? Whenever you are going to get inside the hall, first that person comes and checks your ticket. If it validates, then only you will be entering. Otherwise, he will say कि you are not allowed to enter. That is why it is called a entry control loop, like while I. Suppose I equals to 5. Okay. Equals to 5. I. So equals to I can write I plus plus whatever I write. Let's print it. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. In case of while loop, there is no condition like it will start from 0 or whatever. So if you write I, so it will go up to 1 to 5. And so first what it will check? What is the value of I? If the condition is satisfying, then only it will go inside the loop and print I. Okay. And then it will iterate it will increase the value of I. So this is how we are working with while loop. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So if we want to do multiplication, the same thing using a while loop, how will we do? Simple. Suppose A equals to 2. I am just not taking user input now. I equals to 10. I equals to 1. Less than equals to 10. A into I equals to 10 into 10. Then what I will do? I plus plus. Okay, if I print it, see, you will be getting the same output. Okay, so this is how a while loop works. Now there are lots of catches in for loop also. So suppose perfect number, we will be doing string conversion. Suppose so suppose if I am working with strings, okay, and I want to, suppose I am writing for I in range 10, so it will print up to 0 to 9. Okay, now if I write print str of I, so basically what I am doing, initially I here is, if I print here I, type of I at this stage, let me do one thing. If I print type of I, So it is an integer, right? So by default for loop range, the value is integer. So what we are doing here is we are converting the integer into a string. How we are converting? We are writing string and in the bracket it's I. Very simple. This is called typecasting, or we can say we are converting a string integer into a string. Okay.
Okay.
And multiplying 5 with that string value. So what will happen? So whenever we multiply a value with a string inside a for loop, what will happen? The string will be printed the number of times what we are multiplying the integer. Okay, keep this in mind. So it will print 5 zeros, 5 ones, it will print up to 9. Okay, here we are, what we are doing, we are converting integer to string.
Sir, can you repeat?
Yeah, why not? Which section? You tell me. So basically, see, in case
Sir,
of for
5 digit.
yeah, I am telling. In basically in for loop, whatever the I value is there, iteration, what happens, that value is basically integer in time, which we showed just. So what I am doing is I am converting this I to a string using this string function. Okay. So I am writing string and within brackets I am writing I, and then I am multiplying an integer with the string. So whenever we multiply any integer with a string, what happens is that that string gets printed that number of times which is shown here. So first I value is 0. So 0, see, this 0 is not an integer. Okay, here this is a string. So that's why it is printed 5 times. Okay, so because 0 into 5 is 0, but it is showing 5 zeros. When I'm printing 1, it is showing 5 ones. Okay, where this is required. Suppose you are going to create a banner. Banner means suppose you need to create some logos or something. So suppose outside the loop also, if I write print, I am giving suppose star, okay, into 10. What will happen? See, it will print 10 stars. Okay. Did you get it or not?
Yes, sir.
So any string multiplied with a numeric value gives the string that n number of times. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, I have a question, sir. When to use for loop and when to use while loop? I mean, sir.
Depends on the scenario. Also on your need. Suppose what can I say? Basically, see, normally when to use for and when. So suppose I said, suppose there is a scenario which I said only. Ki in a cinema hall, you can accommodate 50 people, okay, at most. And at the time of entry, you need to check ki how many people will be there. Means you need to check ki kitna, how many is the value. So in that case, when you are defining the range beforehand, while loop is a much better option. Okay, means suppose I say your class can accommodate 50 people. So outside the class, I have written 50. So suppose you are someone, you are so in the exam hall, the teacher needs to allow student based on their roll numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay. So suppose roll number 50 comes first. So the teacher won't allow him. In case of for loop, what will happen? Suppose by any chance roll number 50 comes, he will be allowed. But what will happen? Others means anybody comes anytime, they will be allowed, like that, up to 50. It will, no issues. But in case of while loop, it will check at the time of entry only, boss, what is your roll number. That is the main thing. We can normally in programming, whatever programming we will be doing, we can use any one of them, but it depends on the scenario which you will be using. Okay, basically depends on programmers also. Like suppose some programmers are comfortable in writing while, whereas some are comfortable in writing for. So that is also a thing. But both the loops, this catch is only there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Acha, now I want you to do a program which is called a perfect number. So what is the logic of a perfect number? So try perfect number using a while loop. This is my requirement. So what is a perfect number? Any numbers whose what can I say? Whose factors add up to the number itself is known as a perfect number. So like 6. So what are the factors of 6? 3, 2 and 1. So if I add this 3 plus 2 plus 1, what will I get? 6. Every number is not like that. If I check for 28, okay. So 28, what are the factors of 28? Tell me. 2, first 1, 2, 4,
7 and 14.
7 and 14. So tell me, what does this add up to? 14 plus 7 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1.
28.
Correct. So these are known as perfect numbers. Every number is not like this. If I put on 8, so what are the factors of 8? 1, 2, 4. Okay. So it is not equals to 8. Correct. 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7. So numbers whose factors add up to the number itself is called a factorial of a number. It's called a perfect number. So you will be taking a user input and you need to find the number is perfect or not. Try it and share me in the chat box. I think it will take 5 minutes max. Do using while loop. Okay.
Sir, you said by using while loop.
Using while loop.
Okay.
Anybody done? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Anybody done?
I am not done, sir. I don't know about the others.
Okay. Let me show if you are facing an issue. Let me check once. So I run it. Thank you. So see here what I have done, input a number. Okay, you can see my screen, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we have input a number I equals to 1 and I have taken p equals to 0. Achha. Keep in mind one thing, in case of Python, you cannot directly do p equals to p plus I. You have to assign some value to a variable or initialize, because since we are not defining any data type, suddenly we cannot do any calculation on that particular variable. We have to initialize it with something. So what I have written, while I less than a, if a mod I equals to 0. Okay, so if I put 5 or suppose 6, so what is I? So I will check for 1 to 4, correct? So 1 to 4, whenever it is divisible by something, that means it is a factor of the number. What I am doing, p equals to p plus I, okay? And I am storing that value inside p and adding in each iteration. And I am iterating I here. Once it's done, what we are doing, if a equals to p, means my original number and my value of P if same, then I can say it's a perfect number, else it is not a perfect number. Let me run it. So if I give 28, we already know 28 is a perfect number. So it's showing perfect. So if I give some other number, suppose 8, it's not perfect. If I give 6, which we already know, so it will show perfect. Any issue in the logic? Anyone? Any clarification or any section you are not understanding?
Can you repeat the while part again, sir?
See what I'm saying, while I less than a. Okay. So initially what I have started with 1. So number is 6. So I is less than 1 is less than 6. What I am doing, if a mod I means 6 mod 1 equals to 0. P's value is 0. So I am stealing 0 plus I, that is 1. So first iteration, I value is, P value is 1. I incremented to 2. I is less than a. Again, a mod I is 0. Yeah, okay. It comes to. So 2 plus 1, it comes to 3. So like this, in every iteration, it is increasing. Whenever the values are, whenever the factors are, whenever we are finding the factors, we are storing it inside P by adding it up with the previous number. Okay. And once we are done, then we are checking if a equals to P, means whatever the number which we have taken inside a, we are comparing it with this number. Okay. This original number. If both are same, then we are saying it's a perfect, else not perfect. Clear or not clear?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, if you are not clear, I can explain again, no issues.
It's clear, sir.
Okay.
Sir, that part, if a mod I.
This part you are not clear, right? So suppose, let me write the algorithm. For 6 only I am writing. So initially my I value equals to 1, P equals to 0, right? So I is less than a, correct? So 1 is less than 6, correct? Now what I am checking inside, if 6 mod 1 equals to 0. Is it 0? Yes. So what I am doing, P equals to P plus I. So I value is at this section is 1. So value of P comes to be 1. Next iteration, now I increase I to 2, which is happening here. I equals to I plus 1. So I value is 2. So 6 mod 2 I am checking. It is also coming to be 0. Okay, so what I am doing, P equals to P plus I, which means P value is 2 plus 1, 3. Correct? Now in the next iteration, what I am doing, 6 mod 3 equals to 0. So what I am doing, 2 plus 1, 3. So P is 3 plus 3, 6. Now I come to 4. So 4, 6 mod 4 cannot be done. No calculation. 5, no calculation is done. So my P value remains 6. So my loop is done. So now what we are checking, if A equals to P. So A is my value which I have taken the input and I am checking with this one. If both are same, then we are calling it a perfect number, else it is not a perfect number. Clear or not?
Yes, sir.
So whenever you guys write program, if you are facing some challenges, try to write the algo like this. Okay. Then it will be much easier for you to decipher what you want to do. Okay. This is a very important section which I will be covering. See, lot of things we can be doing using the print statement. What can we do? Suppose, let me do one thing. See, I have taken two variables. One is name, and another is parameter, something Norwegian blue and something like that. Okay. So two string variables are there. So first I am printing name. So what will it print? So it will print my name. Okay, full. Now, let's write some other name. Suppose Gandhi. Suppose write some Bhagat. Just write it. Now, if I am printing the name, it is printing Bhagat Singh, no issues. Now, if I write print name in the bracket 3, can you tell me what will be printed? If I'm writing like this, so if I run it, you will see it will be printing G. That means I am printing the third element 0, 1, 2, 3. So it is printing the element. Okay. So let me write. Also keep in mind string always starts from 0. This means third element. Okay. Suppose I am writing print name -2. Then what it will print? Again, it is printing -G. Why it is printing -G? Can you tell anyone? Why it is printing G for -2 also?
Sir, is it maybe because of the G in the string?
Correct. So when we are writing minus like this, then it will start from here. Keep in mind, from the right side index always starts with 0. From the left side, it will always start with 1. So this is -1, this is -2, -3, -4, 5, like that. Okay. Okay. That is right side, right? From right side index. One. Okay. Right. Suppose if I am writing print name 0:3, then what will it print?
BHAG.
Let's check. It will print BHA because 0, 1, 2. Okay. Here it will take the value from index, that is the element. If I'm writing 3 and it is printing G, means 0, 1, 2, 3. But 0:3 means it is taking the index, means 0, 1, 2, 3 elements. Okay.
Oh, yes, sir.
These are very important. Okay. It looks easy, but for interviews also, it is a bit complicated. So if I print 1:3, then what will we be printing? This one.
Yes, sir.
HLS. Correct. Now if I print only :3, what will it print?
BHA again, sir.
Perfect. Now if I print this one, what will it print?
Sir, full Bhagat Singh.
Let me run it. So it starts with 0. Okay. So B will not be there. Correct?
Yes.
Right, sir.
Okay. Now if I write :1, what will it print?
Only B, sir.
Let me run. Only B. Perfect. Okay. Means :1 means 0, 1. Okay. Not starting from the end. If it starts from end, it will be -1. Okay. See, here, if we run it, this one. So :1 is printing B and 1 colon is printing the HAGAT SING. Okay. So that's why the full name is getting printed. Okay. Acha, if I write it like this, what will it print?
Error, sir.
No error. It will print the full name. Okay. So it will consider the full thing. There will be no error. So let me write it. Total index. Okay. If I am printing -4 to 9, what will be the thing? -4 to 9. So let me run it. So it will start with, it will print I. Can you say why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is my 9th position. And if I check from here also, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So both positions are the same from both sides. So that's why it's printing I. Okay. If I am printing, now I am going to this parrot one. I am printing -4 colon -2. What will it print? It will print BL. Means -4 is this one. Okay? From -4 it will go to this side, -2, because 1 -2. 4, 3, 2. So it will print two elements, -4 and -2. As we are going here, okay? Both in exclusive, means BL. If I go to here, -4, 12, what will it print? Let me run it. So it will again print same thing. Why BL? Because 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, X. Let me tell -4. Huh? So this will go to 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, and if you check 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it will print up to PL. What will it print? 0 colon 6 colon 2. So it will start from 0, it will go up to 6, and it will take a step of 2. So we can use this step in print also, like we can use in for. Okay. So NRE. So why? So N is 0, 0, 1, 2 position step, then R. Then what happens? RW gone, then E. So it will take up to 6. So NORWEG, and it will go up to NRE. This section is very important. Okay, this is a part of thing for which in other languages you have to write loops and everything. But in case of Python, if you are good in, if you can understand this whole thing, then you don't have to write any logic. Everything is done based on this only. Everything is done inside Python. Okay. In case of C or Java, you have to write 5-10 lines of code in order to achieve this thing. But in case of Python, you can achieve the same using a print statement, which is very easy. But you need to know the pattern. Okay.
Sir, can you explain the last one, sir? 0, 6, 2.
Yeah. So what I have written, so it will start from 0 to 6. So 0 is N, correct? 0, 1, 2, 3, these 4, 5, 6. So this much NORWEG, correct? So this much is my total 6 elements. Okay. Now what I
Okay,
am
sir.
doing, I am stepping 2 means 0. Then what I am doing is 0th position n will be printed. Now it will take 2 steps. The 0, 1. Then it will come to R. So these 2, then R. Then what will is gonna RW it's going, then it is printing E. Okay, so it is taking 2 steps every time. So 0 means 0, 1, uske baad it is printing R. RW, then it is printing E. If I am increasing something, so that's why G is not considered, because RW, so we printed E, then if we go to G, then we have to increase it here. Otherwise, it won't be printed, as it is not having this 2 step. Okay. So now, this is also a very important section which can be done. Just a second. Now, so here what we are doing is reversing a string, which is also a very tough task in case of other programming languages. Like how? So we are doing letters A to Z. Okay. So if I want to print this whole
But
letter.
this thing is not visible.
The screen is not visible, sir.
Okay, just a second. Share screen. Yeah, can you see?
Yes.
See, so we are writing letters, okay, A to Z. If I want to print from reverse order, so what we are doing, backwards equal to letters 25. So there are 25 letters, colon, colon, up to -1. If I print it, see, it will be printing the whole thing in the reverse order, right? So there are 0 to 25 alphabets. Okay, so that's why we are writing 25 colon colon -1. Okay.
Sir, why 2 columns, sir?
Because here we are not writing we are not cutting the string. So it will take from last position to whole, and then it will take a step of -1, means 1 1 1 1 1. It will means it won't jump. So up to -1, because 25 to -1 becomes what? Apka 26 elements, right? So
Yes, sir.
25, 24. So that's why we are writing -1. This is a step. Now, also we can do it like this. Suppose backwards, bring backwards. This can also be done. These are all parts of Python string. This will also give you the same output. Okay. If I write -1, so it will start from -1 and it will go to the end. But these 2 columns are mandatory. You have to give it. Okay. Because this position is the start, this is the end, and it will take a step of -1. So if we are giving something blank, then it will take the full case. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, see, now what we are doing. See, letters 25, 17 up to -1. So from 25 to 17 with a single step, let's run it. So you will see up to that one. So 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, then 19, 80. So it is taking -1 as a step. Okay. So from 25 to 17th position, means 17 minus 25, 8, right? So it takes up to 8 elements, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it will print up to S, correct? Okay. So 25 to 17 means 8 letters, and it it will step to a -1. If we are using -2 here, what will happen? It will take 2 means there will be a step of 2. So Z, then X, then V, like that. Okay. Now, if I write 16 to 13 minus 1, what will be the output?
So from 16 to 13 with one.
So what will
Step.
be the output?
PON, sir.
QPO, why? Tell me. See. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, sir, 0. I didn't exit.
So QPO. So you need to keep in mind the 0 very much. Okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, you will make a mistake. Okay. So this is means with whatever these 2 codes are there, you will be doing. You will be means you can do anything in this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Strings, whatever manipulation required and all. Okay. Now let's try something. Try
Sir,
one
if you
program.
want to print this letter A, B, C, D from Z, can we not write this like print letter -1 to -25?
Let me try. Print. Tell me.
Letters and then sir, -1 colon -25.
If I do it like this, let's see what is the output. I am just commenting on this one. Correct. This is what we need to write.
Yes, sir.
Print. So this won't be printing anything because see -1 and -25 are both same positions, right? Correct. So -1 to -25, it won't take like that. Okay. Suppose I do 24. Then also you will be getting something. Print letter. Suppose -1 to -5. Suppose I am writing 1. So this will print the whole thing. Just it will remove A and B. Okay. But
Okay, sir.
-1 and -25 both are basically the end position. So -1 to -25 doesn't make any sense. Correct.
Okay, sir.
So this won't be working. So I'll remove this. Okay. Let's do a program. What program we will do? Write a program to check if a number is prime or not. What is the logic for a prime number? Can anybody tell? Prime number जो है, what is the logic for that? So logic is any number if divided by 1 and that number itself, those numbers are called prime numbers, right?
Yes.
Any number, so if I give 5, 5 is a prime, 3 is a prime, 2 is a prime, we can say. but 4 is not a prime. So try the program. Let me write also. Everybody done?
No, sir.
Take some time.
Sir, you explain, sir.
It's an easy program. Means whatever the program we are doing, you should be doing it. Anybody else other than you? Who are there? Zaid,
Sir, I couldn't do, sir.
why? So
I'm
last
trying.
class, see, you can ask me the algorithm. I can say you. Algorithm is very easy. So if a number is divided by 1 and itself, it is called a prime number, right? It won't
Yes.
be divided by any other number, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is Somdatta. Somdatta, can you hear me?
No, sir, I'm doing.
Okay. Take 2 minutes. It's 10:09. I will wait for 2 minutes. Okay.
নাটকটা হচ্ছে না।
So let's see. Acha, let me share. Okay. You can see my screen, right? Acha, see. What we are doing, we are entering a number, correct? Second line, we are writing c equals to 0. Now, here what we are writing, for I in range 2, comma a, right? Why 2? Because any number is divisible by 1. So there is no point in starting with 1. What we will check, if the number is divided by any other number other than 1 and itself, that we want to check. Okay. So what we have done, is we have gone to 2 to a. So if I write 10, that means it will go 0 to 9, correct? So that means we are removing 1 here and 10 there. So 1 and 10 I am not considering. Now what I am doing is 10 mod I. A is 10. So 10 mod I equals to 0. So if 10 is divided by any number between 2 to 9, 10 number is that is divided by 2 to 9, then we are taking an additional value which is called a c, and we are giving it a 0. So whenever we find the number divided, that particular number is divisible between 2 to n minus 1, that number we are marking at c equals to 3, and we are breaking. So what does this break statements do? Break statements stops the execution of the loop. Okay. It makes you execute the loop at that point of time, and the loop won't run again. So once c equals to 0, that means what we are saying, that means it is divisible by some number other than 1 and itself. So we don't need to check every other number, right? So what we are checking, if c equals to 1, then it is a prime number, else it is not a prime number. Okay. See the program and tell me. See the program properly and tell me. Tell me where you are finding it issue.
Equal to 0 and else c equal to 1. Can you explain it again?
Which one? Tell me. So
Your
what
c
I am
equal to
doing,
1.
see, suppose I am considering suppose I am taking a number as 5. So tell me what are the factors of 5?
5 and 1.
5 and 1. So we are starting the loop with 2 and going up to 4. So up to 4, there are no divisors in 5. So every time the loop is run, this if condition is checking, we are finding c equals to 1 for 5. So if I give, it will say 5 is prime. Okay. Now, sorry. So now, suppose if I run for 4. So 4 is not prime. So 4 will run from 2, 3 and 4. So 2 and 3 are the factors. So whenever 4 is divided by 2, 4 mod 2 is 0, right? So I am writing c equals to 0 and I am breaking it. So if c equals to 0, 4 is not a prime number. Else it's a prime number. Simple. Tell me where you are having the problem. Why I am taking this c?
Sir, count is equal to 0. That means it's not divisible. And
Where I
if
have
it,
written count.
no, sir, I am just telling you that if a mod I is equal to 0, then it's 0. The c value is become 0.
Right.
And so it's breaking it and then just prints that if c is equal to 0, then that number is
Simple.
prime.
Because when c is 0, if the number, whenever the number is divisible by any of the number between 2 to n minus 1 of that number, okay, that means it is not a prime number. Correct?
Yes.
So suppose I am taking, suppose I am considering 10. So I need to check from 2 to 9, right? So
Yes, sir.
if I know 10 is divisible by 2, then we can close our eyes and I can say this is not a prime number because I don't need to check up to whole, right?
Yes, sir.
Do I need to check for 5? Cannot be divisible by any number between 2 and that particular number. Okay.
Yes,
now, you all write a homework where you will, what you will find, you will take a range. I need you to find the prime numbers and non-prime numbers in the range. Means if you print 1, it will show it is prime, 2 it is a prime, 3 prime, 4 not prime, 5 prime, 6 not prime, like that. Okay, prime number in a range. Okay. Okay, this will be your homework. Achha. Let's do another program. This program is very interesting program. Prior to doing this program, let's do this thing first. Okay, we have something there. So we know the value of pi is 22 by 7. So this is for float data type. What is float? Float data type. When the data type there is decimal points. So we know what is the value of pi is. We are writing print pi. Okay. If we write print pi and run it, you will get up to this one, 3.142 something. Okay. But in actual, pi has a very big value. If I do in a calculator, suppose if I write 22 divided by 7. So it basically it never ends. It is a very big number. Okay. It's a never ending number. So, but here we have printed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 or 16 decimals. Okay. But suppose in case of some data science related work, you need more decimals to be more perfect in your thing. Then we will be using this thing. Print, you have to write f. This f means float. Pi is, then you have to write 12.51f. This is the syntax for writing how much. So prior to decimal, you will be having two values. Okay. And after decimal, you can take up to 51 value. If I run this, so if you check here, you will find that. Okay. We can write 1.51 also, because we know 3 point something is the value. So this and this f is mandatory and this f is also mandatory. So if I remove this f, then what will happen? See, then it is showing like this. So you have to, in order to print floating values, you have to write f here, and this f is also mandatory. Okay, because it will also print the last value. Okay. So just note, means whenever I am sharing this, just note it down, and this is basically for your knowledge purpose. Later on, when we will be doing some advanced stuff, this will come in handy. Okay. This is for decimal data type. This format you need to keep in mind. Okay. Okay, this we will be doing. Also, one thing we can do. Paste it. So here what we are doing, we are learning how to write this dot format inside print. So what does dot format do? While using dot format, we can modify value inside a string. How it is being done, you will understand. So we are writing, please enter your name. If name not equals to blank, hello, then I have written 1,0 dot format name, 12, right? So if I run it, suppose I am writing here Zaid. Okay. See, it's coming hello Zaid 12. Okay. Why is it coming like 12 comma Zaid? Because what does inside this, if I write like this 1 and 0, that means, and inside dot format, what is happening? Whatever the values we are doing, we can replace it based on the index inside my string. So this is name is 1, 0 and 12 is 1. So when I'm writing 1,0, what is happening? The name 12 is coming at first position and name is coming in the 0th position. So if I write multiple values here, suppose I am writing 3. So name. Okay. Sorry, this will be 2, 0, 1, 2. So 1,000 will come after that. If I write like this, so this is just for formatting. Okay. So we can format values inside this also by like this. Okay. Normally, whatever we write inside this, that is only printed. But if we use dot format, then we can replace the values based on the index of the values which we are printing inside dot format. Is it clear or not?
So at first it was to be printed hello and that 102, but after we use the format function,
Right.
then it will be name 12,000.
Yeah, name is 0th position, 12 is first, 1,000 is 1. If we write it like this, if we give 3 open brackets, okay, 3 brackets, then what will happen? Can you tell me the output? So it will print name first, suppose Zaid 12,000. It will print in this order. But if I want to change the order inside a string, so suppose I write 0, 2, 1. So dot format formats inside a string. Okay. Based on the index. Anybody, any issue in this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Achha, now I just want you to write a program, easy program. Suppose we are taking, that program I will share. Okay, that you can. Let me show that program. That will be better. Suppose I want to check I want to take 4 numbers as a user input. Okay. And I want to find the greatest of the number. Okay. So what will we do? It's very easy, just to make you understand. So basically what we are taking 4 inputs. Okay. And we need to check which is the largest among the same. So what we are writing, if A greater than B and A greater than C and A greater than B. So and is written like this. So if all the conditions satisfied, we will write A is greatest. Else if. So in other languages we write else if, but here we write elif. Okay. Whenever there are multiple conditions, then we are writing elif. So that is my main purpose. If B greater than A and B greater than C and D, then B is greatest. Elif, this one, else C is greatest. So you need to keep in mind, in case of Python, else if we write as elif. Okay.
Okay, sir.
This is simple.
Basically, more than one else, we write elif.
More than one else, no. If there are more than one condition, suppose there are two
Yes, sir.
conditions, suppose there are two values, A greater than B. So what will happen? If A is greater than B, A is greatest, else B is greatest. Done. If there are 3 values, then A greater than B or B greater than C and B greater than C. Now you need to check for B also, right? Then there will be if, elif, else. So since there are 4 values, 4 conditions, so we are using elif here. Okay. So if I write 4, 56, 98 and 54. So 98 is the greatest. Okay. This is just to show that when we are using multiple conditions, we are using elif. Okay. Now a very interesting program I will show. So it's basically, you can say it's a guessing game. Okay. Suppose in a casino, we will be doing it later using random numbers. Currently, suppose in a casino or lottery, I know this answer. Okay. Means if you get a ticket with 5 in it, then you have to guess. You will be having 2 chances. Okay. So let me run the program first. So what is, you will guess a number between 1 and 10. So I guess 5. I guess 9. So I will get one option. Please guess lower. I press 6. You have not guessed correctly. Okay. So every time you will be getting a single guess. So this is called a guessing game. Suppose I am putting 6. Guess lower. I put 5. You guessed it. Okay. So this is a very good program. It only uses if and else, but in such a manner so that you can make it as a game also. Okay.
Sir, what if we write 4, sir?
What 4? Okay. Suppose I write 4, it will say guess higher. Okay. So if I write 20, you have not guessed correctly. Okay. You will be getting 2 chances. Now let's come to the program. What we are doing, please guess number between 1 and 10. Okay. You are taking the input. What we are checking, if guess equals to answer, आपको पहला बार में this is perfect. Else, if guess less than answer, okay, print please guess higher. Else please guess lower. Okay. Now in this else, what I am doing, I am also taking an input. Okay. So this input I am taking for the second chance. If guess equals to answer, you guessed it. Sorry, you have not guessed it correctly. Okay. If we want to increase it further, suppose I am modifying.
Sir, suppose we get 3 options, so
Yes.
we can use elif condition.
No, for this program, this is not for else if. This is just a logic. Okay? Means, see, this is a very simple program, but the logic is very good. Else if is not required here as such. suppose I write 5. So I write 6. This goes 3. So I write again. So here my, just a second, I'm taking the input. Guess input. If I want to increase it another time, okay. This program currently what it is doing, every time if I want to increase the number of guesses, I have to write this section, okay. Later what we will do, we can take x, well done. If I write it like this, then you will be getting 3 chances. So you have not guessed correctly. Just so number. So this is a very good program. If guess equals to answer, so let me modify a bit. So in the last chance, you won't be getting any hints. You have to guess higher or lower. So program is like this. So I print 6. Please guess lower. I write 4. Sorry, you have not guessed correctly. Guessed correctly. Right. Last chance. Okay. So now I guess 5. Well done, you guessed it. Okay. So this becomes a very small game, but these are the basic logics which are used behind casinos also. So this number later we will be doing it in random. Okay, this number will come as a random value, and based on that random value, any number will be generated, and you have to guess it within that. So that we will do in some next classes. So did you understand this program or not? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
Also go through this program well, because this is a very good program. Okay, means we are not using anything for while anything, but still the coding is such that it can, we are using basic things, but it can be used to make a game also. Okay, if you have a console in a mobile, okay, and this is the basic algorithm behind that game. Okay, so suppose if you do one thing. This program I will be giving you, I will be sharing. Okay, what you need to do, you need to modify the program. So suppose if you guess correctly in the first chance, you will get a 10,000 rupees. Okay, that will be your prize. If you guess in a second chance, it will be 5,000 rupees. And if you guess correctly in the last chance, then you will be getting 100 rupees. Okay. Else you won't be getting anything. So whenever you guess something, so it will show if the guess is correct, then you will print you have won 10,000 rupees. Again, if you are in the second chance, then 5,000. In the third chance, it will guess 100. Okay, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Got it? No? So you modify. I will be sharing this file in that Google Drive. So you need to modify the code as per what I have said. Okay. So there will be 2 homeworks. One is prime number within a range, and you need to modify this program. Okay. Okay. So any questions from last class you didn't understand or something?
No, sir.
Okay, so whenever, if you face any issues, you can write in WhatsApp or call me also, no issues with that. And are you guys writing the code or just seeing the code which I am sharing? That I also need to know. Because if you see the code, it won't help you. You need to write it, the code by hand. Okay, every one of you. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, chalo, take care. Huh? Bye.